Yes. There's something on ISKCON Desire on Snan Yatra or Mayapur.com.
Both.
Jagannath Snan Yatra. Snan Yatra is an important pastime of Lord Jagannath at our temple in Rajapur, Simanta Dweep. On this day, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra allow themselves to be bathed by all following the original tradition of worship at Jagannath Puri. Our devotees as well as hundreds of local people enthusiastically assembled at the Jagannath temple to perform Abhishek with Ganges water, milk, etc. This bathing goes on for a few hours in the midst of kirtans, glorifying their lordships and the chanting of the Mahamantra. Lord Jagannath's prasad is also offered to all visitors. Lord Jagannath's pastimes are such that after Snan Yatra, Jagannath, Balaram and Subhadra become sick, quote unquote, and so must take medicines and take rest until they become rejuvenated, enough to go for Rath Yatra. When they are sick, they are offered bhoga containing medicinal herbs without the usual offerings. A special bath of Jagannath takes place on the Purnima of the Jeshta month Devasnan Purnima to commemorate the appearance day of Lord Jagannath. According to Skanda Purana, when Raja Indradumna installed the wooden deities, he arranged this bathing ceremony. This day, considered to be the birthday of Lord Jagannath, held in the full moon day of the month of Jeshta. This festival is also simultaneously held in all other important Puri. It attracts thousands of visitors and pilgrims from all over the country. Niladri Mohadaya, a religious text written in Orison Oriya records, the rituals of the festival. Record the rituals of the festival. Sri Harsha, in his Naisadhya Charita, also refers to this festival of Purushottam. This bathing ceremony has a specialty, as this festival does not find mention in the early religious texts. It is believed to be a tribal ceremony. Lord Jagannath, in his early form, was being worshipped as Neelamadhava by a Shavara chief called Vishwavasu. The story is nicely told in the drama Jagannath Priya Natakam. Till now, it is the Daitas, the Shavaras, the tribals, who have the exclusive right to conduct the festival. The tribals, called the Sauras of southern Orissa, still perform a rite to bathe their deities ceremonially on the last day of the month of Jeshta. For this, they collect water from remote jungles, where it remains untouched even by the shadow of the animals. On the previous day of Snan Yatra, the images of Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra, along with the image of Sudarshana, are ceremonially brought out from the sanctum in a procession to the Snana Vedi, bathing pandal. This special pandal in the temple precinct of Puri is called Snana Mandap. It is at such a height that visitors stand outside the temple. Also, the temple gate, for a glimpse of the deities. On the 14th day, Chaturdashi, the day before the bathing, Purnima, when the deities are taken out in procession, the whole process is called Pahandi or Pahandi Vijaya. Scholars have given different interpretations of the term Pahandi. Some opine that it has been derived from the term Praspanda, meaning movement. Some others are inclined to interpret it as derivation from Pandya Vijaya. For the festival, the Snanavedi bathing platform is well decorated with traditional paintings of trees and gardens. Plants and doranas, arches strung with mango leaves, are also put up. The deities are profusely decorated with flowers. All kinds of perfumes, such as dhupa, aguru, etc., are then offered. As the Pahandi of the deities takes place to the accompaniment of music, and beating of various indigenous drums, thousands of devotees jostle and pray or look at the deities in procession. In Puri, the bathing procedure is as follows. After Mangalarti, the Shodas and Mahashodas go in a ceremonial procession to fetch water from Sunakua, golden well, in 130 vessels of copper and gold. All of them cover their mouths with a piece of cloth so as not to contaminate even with their breath. Then all the vessels filled with water are preserved in the Bhoga Mandap. Pipalla Pandas, a class of Brahman priests, then purify the water with haridra, turmeric, java, whole rice, benchera, chandan, aguru, flowers, perfumes, and medicinal herbs. The bathing festival takes place during the morning hours of Purnima Tithi. The filled vessels are carried from Bhoga Mandap to the Snana Vedi by the Shodas in a long single line procession. This ritual is called Jaladibhasha. Prior to the bathing ceremony, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, covered in a silken cloth and then smeared with red powder, are taken in procession to a platform which is specially decorated and purified with water and incense. 108 golden vessels are filled with water taken from a special well containing waters from all the holy tirthas. Abhishek is performed with gold vessels. Abhishek is performed with this water, accompanied by the chanting of Vedic mantras, kirtans, and blowing of conch shells. Due to the amount of bathing liquids that are offered to cool the Lord's transcendental body at this time, bear in mind that this is the hottest time in India, just prior to the refreshing monsoon rain. His painted form takes a bit of a washout. The coloration of the deity's faces are painted on with the natural earthy mineral paints, not modern oil-based paints. So when water is applied to cool their forms, it also has the effect of washing away the features of the former painting. As usual, the Lord has a plan to make everything go smoothly. To bridge the episode of his bathing and the period that he comes out to bless everyone for Rath Yatra, he organized some special pastimes by which his devotees can serve him and remember his wonderful forms. So to keep a wonderful mood of seeing the Lord in an uplifting manner, the Lord arranged for the Hathi Vesha festival, where Lord Jagannath and Lord Balaram then puts on the elephant dress, Hathi Vesha. And Lady Subhadra wears a lotus flower Vesha. The original story is told in several different ways. Some call Hathi Snan, elephant bath. Some call Ganesha Abhishek, as they identify the following story as being the original cause of the Lord to wear this elephant Vesha for his devotee. It is said that a staunch devotee of Lord Ganesha, and himself a proud scholar, visited Puri during Snan Yatra. He was amply rewarded by the king of Orissa for his scholarship. The king asked the scholar to accompany him to see Lord Jagannath, which he refused under the pretext that he wouldn't worship any god other than his Ishtadeva Ganesha.
फिनिश हो गया
नहीं या वो मूव हो गया
अच्छा किताब ध्यान किताब भी है साथ में
Then his Ganesha. Somehow he was persuaded and brought before the Snan of Edi. The Snan of Edi. To the utter surprise of all, Lord Jagannath appeared with an elephantine form that resembled as Ganesh. Since then, during Snana Yatra, when the sacred bath is performed, the deities are dressed like elephants, resembling Ganesh. Various other legends are also told and reasons assigned explaining the Ganesha Vesha. During the sacred bath, the colors painted on the images generally fade. Seeing the wooden deities in this color, devotees may not have the appropriate devotional attitude, and in fact may feel sinful repugnance. For this reason, the images are immediately dressed in Hathi Vesha, in which they remain mostly covered. After the Snana Yatra, the deities are kept away from public view for 15 days, and during all these days, the daily rites of the temple remain suspended. As Jagannath himself instructed, after this ceremony, he is not seen for a fortnight. The deities are kept on a special sick room called the Ratan Vedi inside the temple. This period is called Anabhasara Kala, meaning improper time for worship. It has been said earlier that the deities are discolored as a result of the sacred bath. Some say look a bit off color. During these 15 days, the Daitas, descendants of Vishwavasu, the Shavara, repaint and restore the deities. and Jagannath's fine decorations. The period of coloring and discoloring and the period of coloring and decorating the deities is divided into 7 short periods, each of 2 days' duration, and a short period of 1 day set apart to give finishing touches. Thus the period covers the whole fortnight. On the 16th day, the deities in their new forms after renovation become ready for the public view, darshan. The festival of the first appearance of Lord Jagannath to his devotees is called Netrotsava, festival for the eyes, and Nava Yovanotsava, festival of the ever-new youth. According to the priests of the Jagannath temple, the devotee washes away all his sins if he gets a vision of the Lord on this day. On this occasion, therefore, great rush of people occurs in the temple. The Shilpa Shastras and Agamas testify that the deities become suitable for worship only after the performance of the rite of Chakshu Unmilana, opening of the eyes. During Anabhasana, the Daitas offer the deities only fruits and water mixed with cheese and the Dashamula medicines to cure his fever. In a devotional mood, the devotees accept that due to all the bathing, the Lord becomes transcendently poorly and therefore takes to rest. And therefore needs to take rest. Like human beings, they are considered to have fallen ill and are treated by the Raj Vaidya or the king's physician with specific medicines. The temple festivals, which are held in a bigger and elaborate scale in the important shrines of Puri and Bhubaneswar, are also held simultaneously in all other small shrines of the respective deities, though in modest scales. Likewise, the Snana Yatra is held in many other temples of Orissa, and now all over the world. Other deities may also receive abhishek on this day. One should perform puja and bathe the deities with water or panchagavya and panchamrita while chanting the Vedic mantras like Purusha Shukta. Snan Yatra and Hati Vesha Utsav by Jai Tirtha Charan Dasa. The Snan Yatra bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath has become one of the most popular festivals in the ISKCON calendar over the years since His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada introduced it to the world outside of India. Traditionally, this festival has been going on since the time of the carving of the Daru Brahmana deities of Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram and Lady Subhadra in Shri Purukshottama Kshetra, Jagannath Puri, thousands of years ago, commemorating their sacred appearance for their devotees, primarily the saintly king Maharaja Indrakunda. Many of you would know that after the bathing ceremony, the Lord catches a transcendental chill, are fed sweet foods and drinks to break their fever, and then retires for their Anavasara Kala, recuperation period. In Jagannath Puri, where the deities are painted with natural mineral paints, after the bathing ceremony, the paints have a tendency to run, and the deities would not be viewable to the general public. So to allow the devotees to partake further in the Lord's pastimes, we made a special arrangement with one Brahmin who came to visit to take darshan at this time. Lord Shri Krishna Jagannath is the Lord of the universe, and so in essence is the original creator of everything. Nothing exists without him. In one sense, then everything is him, at least coming from him. Just as the creation of a byproduct from the original source, the byproduct has its existence by association with the original object. Shastra gives the example of milk being transformed into yogurt for a functionary analogy of Krishna being like the original source, the milk in this case, and Lord Shiva being like yogurt, having become in contact with the culture for his functionary activities in the material world. The milk therefore is one like yogurt, having come in contact. The milk therefore is one, in one sense, the milk therefore in one sense created yogurt, but that yogurt can never again become milk. Therefore it, although one in origin, is different. becoming secondary or mutated potency and therefore lesser in potency and function. I read from these books.
Is there more on dietary?
So yes, Snan Yatra. I was just seeing in these books if there's something on Snan Yatra, and then there's more online also. I can read more.
Remember?
So in this book, Sri Jagannath Puri, the Reservoir of Divine Love, by Sarva Sakshi Das, there's a section on Snan Yatra. Snan Yatra. This festival is celebrated in Snana Mandapa in the temple premises on full moon day of month of Jyeshta. This is a special festival where from series of many upcoming festivals begin. This festival attracts people from all over the whole world towards Puri. This day is considered the appearance day of Lord Jagannath on this day. And on this day he arrives in Mahabedhi to shower his mercy upon everyone. Lord Jagannath has said to King Indradumna, Jyeshta Purnima is my birthday. You will celebrate my bathing ceremony on this day as per scriptural injunctions. In the Brahma Purana also there is a description of Krishna Snana on the day of Jyeshta Purnima. King Indradumna himself would make all the arrangements for Snan Yatra festival. Lord Jagannath had also said to him, find out the well which is covered with sand on the north side of immortal banyan tree situated on the bank of ocean, on the bank of the ocean, and make all the arrangements for Snana Yatra. Perform purification ceremony of the well with the help of Kshetrapalas and Dikpalas while playing various musical instruments such as conch, drums, etc. Then bathe me next morning with that water in which all the holy places are present. Since then, the Snana Yatra festival is being celebrated as per the instruction of the Lord as given to King Indradumna. On the 13th day of bright fortnight of Jyeshta month, preparations of the festival are begun by the priests of the temple. Madana Mohana and Lakshmi reside in the southern room, and Madhava and Saraswati reside in Shayana room. On the full moon day of Jyeshta month, Lord Jagannath is brought to Snana Mandapa while celebrating Pahandi Vijaya. Madana Mohana, the festival deity of Lord Jagannath, is also brought to Snana Mandapa. 108 pots of holy water is brought from the well, and sandalwood paste, camphor, etc. are mixed in it. Mangalarti is offered to the Lord in the Snana Mandapa. After morning dressing, Lord is bathed with 108 pots of holy water. Thousands of pilgrims throng in Puri to behold this great ceremony. This festival can be seen even from the grand road. After Snana Yatra, Lord Jagannath is dressed in Hathi Vesha, elephant dressing. People can go near the deities and embrace. In this way, Snana Yatra festival is celebrated. Standing on the high stage of Snana Yatra, Lord Jagannath tries to look toward Sundarachala, Vrindavan, because this festival is nothing but a prior arrangement, a conspiracy to bring the Lord to Vrindavan by cheating. Once there lived a Brahmana named Ganapati Bhatta. He lived in the Kaniyari village of Karnataka province. He was an unalloyed devotee of Lord Sri Hari. He was kind to all living entities, free from lust, anger, and greed. He was the knower of all the scriptures. He never engaged himself in the worship of any demigods because he knew that Jagannath is the Supreme Lord and that he is the proprietor of this universe. He knew that only by the grace of Lord Jagannath can one obtain salvation. Ganapati Bhatta always thought, if I can get a chance to have darshan of the Supreme Lord with my eyes, my life will be perfect. Once he was reading about the appearance of Lord Sri Hari on Nilagiri. He read that one who takes shelter of the transcendental form of the Lord becomes free from the clutches of birth and death and attains salvation. He read that one who takes darshan of the transcendental form of the Lord becomes free from the clutches of birth and death and attains salvation. These words touched his heart, and he realized the futility of material life and kinsmen. He then decided to go to Nilagiri to take darshan of the transcendental form of Supreme Brahman in order to achieve salvation. Thus he left his home and began his journey to Puri. On the way to Puri, he would beg alms for maintaining his body. And if he would not get any alms, he would fast. After a long travel, finally he reached near Atharanala Bridge, which is at the entrance of Puri, and began to thank the Lord for giving him an opportunity to visit the place. On this way to Puri, Ganapati Bhatta happened to see many people returning from Puri, carrying pots of prasad with them. Ganapati Bhatta asked them, "Where are you all coming from? Why you all look so blissful? What have you obtained?" Pilgrims replied, "O Brahmana, we are all returning from Jagannath temple. We spent 5 days at Puri. We are now satisfied and blissful. Now we are returning back to our hometowns. Lord Jagannath's form is transcendental. What remains more to obtain when one has taken possession of the Lord?" Ganapati Bhatta became astonished to hear all this from the pilgrims. He asked them, "Did you all really see the Supreme Brahman?" They replied, "Yes, we did." Ganapati Bhatta began to think, It is not true that here resides Param Brahman. They have not seen him. If they have seen Param Brahman, then how are they returning back to their homes? They should have merged into him. This is the truth, what I read in the Puranas, that one who takes darshan of Sri Hari immediately becomes free from material life and attains salvation. Then how these people are returning home? Ganapati Bhatta became confused. He opened the part of those scriptures and read it again and again. Therein it was clearly written that one who resides in Puri and takes darshan of the Lord obtains salvation. He thought, "What should I do now? I am unable to discriminate between what is to be done and what is not. It will be better if I give up this body." but later he thought that committing suicide is not good. Lord Jagannath understood the feelings of Ganapati Bhatta. He appeared in front of him in the form of an old Brahmin and asked him, "Where have you come from? Where are you going? Why do you look so morose?" Ganapati Bhatta replied, "O Brahmana, please listen. I have read in Puranas that Supreme Brahman resides in Nilagiri. One who takes his darshan immediately becomes liberated. But now I feel that Supreme Brahman is not there in Puri." The Lord, in the form of old Brahman, asked Ganapati Bhatta, "How did you come to a conclusion that Supreme Brahman is not there in Puri?" Bhatta replied, "As far as I know, one who takes darshan of the Supreme Lord gets merged into him and thus attains liberation. But here I see people returning back to their hometowns even after taking darshan of Lord Shri. Therefore I come to the conclusion that there is no Brahman in Puri." Upon hearing this argument of Ganapati Bhatta, the old Brahmana said, "Lord Jagannath is also known as the desire tree, Kalpavriksha, meaning he fulfills desires of all. All these people have come to Puri with the desire to return back. Therefore the Lord has fulfilled their desires. Similarly, those who come with the desire of salvation also obtain His grace accordingly. Therefore, please do not think that Supreme Brahman is not present here in Puri." Thus the old Brahmana convinced Ganapati and that. When Ganapati Bhatta reached Puri, fortunately it was the day of Snana Yatra. The deities of Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra were brought to Snana Mandapa for Abhishek. Priests were bathing their lordships, and others were reciting prayers and glorifying them. Ganapati Bhatta was worshipper of Ganesha. When he had darshan of Lord Jagannath in Puri, he did not see Ganesh form. He expected that Lord Hari's face is like that of an elephant. But here he saw something else. He thought that Lord Jagannath is not the Supreme Lord, as his face does not resemble that of the elephant. Disheartened, he left the temple without offering obeisances to the Lord. Lord Jagannath understood his mind. He appeared before the representative of the king of Puri, known as Munyudi Rekha, and said, "A devotee of mine has come to Puri from a distant place to take my darshan, but because he saw that my face does not resemble that of an elephant, he is now returning back. Please somehow bring him back and tell him that he will be able to see the Lord's form as he was expecting." Mudiratha immediately set out to find Ganapati Bhatta. After finding him, he said to Ganapati Bhatta, "The Supreme Lord is capable of fulfilling all the desires. Please come back and take darshan of the Lord. Your desire will be fulfilled." Ganapati Bhatta angrily said, "Where is Brahman? Why are you cheating me? Why I could not see Vedananda form? Why then are you trying to take me back?" Mudiratha replied, "Please give up your obstinacy and come with me. You will certainly be able to see the elephant face of the Lord. I am telling you the truth." Ganapati Bhatta finally agreed to come back to the temple. He took darshan and saw elephant face of the Lord. Lord said to Ganapati Bhatta, "I am all-pervading personality of Godhead. I am without beginning and end." Bhatta offered obeisance and began to pray. "O my Lord, O Master of the universe, now I am fully satisfied by having your darshan. I request you to kindly show this form of yours to all the devotees who come here in Puri to take your darshans on Snan Yatra Day." While praying thus, Ganapati Bhatta fell down on the ground and merged into the deity of Lord Jagannath. All the sum of devotees and priests saw his soul entering into the Jagannath deity. Everyone there cheered Ganapati Bhatta. Even today, after Snan Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath is dressed in Gaja Vesha. Just see the magnanimity of Bhavagrahi Lord Jagannath. He is worshipped by great demigods like Brahma and Shiva. Still, for the sake of fulfilling the desire of his devotee, he accepted Gajananda form. Guru Maharaj, I also have today's Srila Prabhupada's class, or we can also have more on slide.
No.
Viva.
स्नान यात्रा
Okay.
स्नान यात्रा अभी तो होने वाला है
मेरी बेटी जी आने के बाद वो
Yes, I'm looking for it here. Yes. Snan Yatra by Giriraj Swami in Bhakti Garden magazine. It is a great honor, privilege, and pleasure to be here in New Jagannath Puri Dham on this auspicious occasion of Snan Yatra. According to the Skanda Purana, the history of the installation of the Jagannath deities in Puri goes back about 153 million years. Although there is a history of how the deities came to be carved in the shapes in which they now appear, actually Lord Jagannath and his associates are eternal. His being carved is just a pastime to facilitate his manifestation on earth. As Prabhupada explains, fire is already present in wood, but by a certain process, fire is kindled. Similarly, God is all-pervading. He is everywhere, and since he may come out from everything, he appeared. Since he may come out from everything, he appeared. Lord Nrsimha appeared from the pillar of Hiranyakashipu's palace. Lord Varaha appeared from the nostril of Brahma, and Lord Kapila appeared from the semen of Kardama. But this does not mean that the nostril of Brahma, or the pillar of Hiranyakashipu's palace, or the semen of Kardama Muni is the source of the appearance of the Lord. The Lord is always the Lord. Lord Jagannath is eternal, just as Krishna is eternal. Although Krishna had his appearance pastime in the prison house of Kansa, he is eternal. He resides eternally on his spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan, and he eternally manifests his pastimes within the material world. Lord Jagannath also has an eternal planet in the spiritual sky. He is the source of all incarnations and appears in whatever form his devotee wants to see him. Sometimes in Puri, the pujaris dress him as a demigod, such as Ganesh with an elephant's trunk. That is also to confirm the philosophical principle that by worshipping Lord Jagannath, Krishna, one worships all the demigods automatically. All the demigods are included in Jagannath, and all the expansions of Godhead are included. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers, Gauri Vaishnavas, see Lord Jagannath as Krishna. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would see Jagannath in Puri, he saw Krishna, Shyama Sundar. The appearance of Lord Jagannath is mentioned in the Skanda Purana. There, Lord Jagannath tells King Indradumna, who had the first Jagannath deity carved and who built the first great temple for Lord Jagannath in Puri, that he appeared on the full moon day of the month of Jyeshta, being pleased with the king's devotion and sacrifices. It is on this very date, every year, that Snani Yatra, the public bathing of Lord Jagannath, is held. For the Snani Yatra in Puri, Lord Jagannath is brought into public view and bathed on a rooftop or terrace of the great temple. Then, as it is said, the Lord catches a cold and is removed to his private quarters, the quarters of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, who for 2 weeks serves him hand and foot. Of course, there is another question about his hands and feet. A disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, we are told to meditate on the deity beginning with the lotus feet. But how do we begin our meditation on Lord Jagannath? He doesn't have feet. And Srila Prabhupada replied, you can meditate on whatever you can see. Advanced devotees can see Lord Jagannath's lotus feet. There are philosophical principles and specific pastimes that account for why he has no feet or hands, or why they are not visible. The Upanishads say that the Lord has no legs, but that he can overcome all others running. He has no hands or feet really means that he has no material hands or feet. He has spiritual hands and feet. Still in ecstasy, he sometimes withdraws his limbs and widens his eyes. Krishna had so much love for the residents of Vrindavan that even in Dwarka, in the middle of the night, he would sometimes call the names of the cattle boys and cows, or Srimati Radharani and the gopis, or his mother and father, Nanda and Yashoda. Sometimes he would be so overwhelmed with ecstatic love for the residents of Vrindavan that he would not eat or sleep. It was a mystery for the residents of Dwarka. What is this special place, Vrindavan? And who are these special people? What happened when Krishna was there in his childhood that makes him so attached to Vrindavan? One person in Dwarka had been present in Vrindavan for Krishna's childhood pastime. Mother Rohini, the mother of Balaram. The residents of Dwarka, wanting to hear about Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan, asked, who are these special people? What is this special place? She said, I will tell you, but no one should disturb me while I am speaking. So they all assembled in large hall in Dwarka, and Subhadra was posted at the door to make sure that no one entered. But she also wanted to hear about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. So she put her ear to the door. Hearing Krishna's pastimes, she became ecstatic, and in her ecstasy, her eyes opened wide, her mouth smiled broadly, and her limbs withdrew. She assumed the features that we see today in the deity of Subhadra. Then Krishna and Balaram came and saw Subhadra with their ear to the door in that ecstatic feature. And they thought, let us also hear what is being put inside.
इधर पोषण लगा दीजिए फ्रॉम हाँ एक मिनट और इधर ही बैठो
So they put their ears to the door, and they too became ecstatic to assume their own particular features, with their lips withdrawn and their eyes open wide and their mouths in broad smiles. So that is how the lordships came to assume these special forms. The Rath Yatra begins at the Jagannath temple in Nilachal and proceeds to the Gundicha temple in Sundarachala. Nilachal represents Dwarka, where Krishna lives as a king and is worshipped in opulence. And Sundarachal represents Vrindavan, and Krishna is loved simply as the Rama's daughter. During the year, the Gundicha temple named after the wife of the king of the Gunda. Isn't and naturally that's the birth of Puja. The day before that Yatra is Gundicha Maharaja. And on that day, she learned the king of the Gundicha temple and described in thousands of words. They slept it twice and they washed thousands of cups of water. They didn't have hoses there, only cloths. They filled thousands of pots with water and washed the temple inside and out, just to make the temple fit. Metaphorically, the cleansing of the Gundicha temple is a cleansing of the heart to make it a fit place for the Lord. Such cleansing is effected by hearing the chanting. When a sincere devotee Satan hears the messages of Krishna, all the dirty, inauspicious things that have gone in the heart, Vidya Amrit, are cleansed within Lord. Similarly, the identical chanting and hearing of the holy names of the Lord, Sankirtan, one's consciousness is also purified. Keto Darpana. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers need the Gundicha temple to make it a fit place for the Lord Himself. And as Srila Prabhupada often said, when you leave the temple, leave Alarana, the holy separation. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was in the mood of Shrimati Radharani, in separation from Krishna, the highest level of ecstatic love, in separation, was unable to see Lord Jagannath for 2 weeks. He almost went mad. When he had first arrived in Puri and entered the temple and seen the deity Jagannath, he had thought, here is my Lord, for whom I have been searching. He had left to embrace the deity of Lord Jagannath, Krishna, in the ecstasy of Brahma. So for whom to have achieved the Lord of God, and the last the Jagannath temple was seclusion from the body, he could not remain in Puri. So he walked 14 miles to that seclusion, and
चलने तो प्रसाद बन गया होगा ना भगवान का प्लेट पानी कर लिया लाइट चल रहा है कल जा रहे हैं क्या स्पेशल है उधर
कुछ नहीं ऐसे बहुत दिन हो गए फिर अपने से मिले हुए ऋषि से मिलने उनसे भी
आप क्या करते हैं
जॉब करता हूँ हॉस्पिटल में ना रवि सर के साथ
कौन से हॉस्पिटल में
आरटी में रवि सर का है ना
कहाँ पे है
आरटी में गुड़गांव वाले रवि सर का पता है रवि सर ना
हाँ हाँ उसी के यहाँ
हाँ उन्होंने साथ में ना
अच्छा ठीक है कभी उनसे बात करना होगा तो मैं आपको फोन करूँगा मैं फ़ोन तो करता रहता हूँ
हाँ हाँ और ज़्यादा मैं ही उठाता हूँ फोन करता हूँ
अच्छा
मेरे घर पे बोलता हूँ
मुझे रिप्लाई दे देते हैं बाद में
हाँ हाँ नहीं बोलते तो कि जो भी मंदिर का फ़ोन है तो डिलीवरी पड़ेगा इतना ही बिजी हो कोई मतलब नहीं बात करते हैं
घुटने का रोज ऑपरेशन होता है घुटने का ऑपरेशन रोज होता है
हाँ रोज ही करते हैं रोज ही करते हैं
बहुत पैसा कमाते हैं वो है ना खुद उनका खुद का है
खुद का क्लिनिक खुद का है वहाँ से पैसे बुलाते हैं हमारे जगह में 20 तारीख को सुबह यात्रा है पिछले बार तो नहीं आ पाए थे आप छः सात साल किया था संगम बिहार में कम 800 भक्त आए पिछले बार तो इस बार एकादशी पड़ रहा मैं दो तक
द्वादशी वाले
एकादशी के दिन
अच्छा चल रहा
एकादशी के दिन
अच्छा
20 तारीख को आप उस समय आप वृंदावन में थे आप 20 नवंबर का मैं लगा ना कि अलग से बोलेंगे एकादशी के बाद करवा देंगे अलग साइड से
Jagannath is the Lord means separation. Lord Jagannath, the ultimate temple, feels separated. Shrimati Radha is very beautiful. She became happy. Removed Shrimati Radha after Krishna left without also feels separation. Jagannath Puri is a basic crying, but that crying is excellent. That separation is excellent. It is not what we experience. After this period of separation, Lord Jagannath finally leaves his private quarters. He emerges from the temple and mounts his chariot. And for the first time in 2 weeks, the Mahaprabhu and other devotees are able to come to the statue. And in the Rath Yatra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will rule the Govardhan, bringing Krishna.
जय गिरिराज बाबा की जय, कृष्ण बलराम की जय, रघुनाथ देव सुंदरा दर्शन की जय।